If you're looking to get your family out there and camping, but you don't want to go claustrophobic, cabin crazy on a rainy day, this Go Play 26 BHS might be the perfect fit for your family, either as an upgrade or maybe your first time trailer right here. It includes a lot of really smart features that were suggested to us by experienced RVers that you kind of just get to take advantage of right from the start. You'll have things like a basic camp kitchenette station that you can expand on if you want to, some battery tending solar stuff to help you avoid potential electrical challenges basically with the RV, a pretty nicely sized patio awning to really keep some coverage over your picnic area depending on how bad the sun's coming down. It's nice to not get sunburns all day every day. Some really generous outside front storage capacity here and the towability factors of this. If you've got a decent late model tow package half ton, this is a camper that might work very well for you. It's only about 30 foot tip to tail, but still gives you a private bedroom, big space offering super slide, taller ceiling, and plenty of sleeping space for everybody. Now, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes public picnic tables can be gross. Animals do all kinds of things on those, and sometimes people just make messes on them and don't clean up after themselves. And we thought, what if we could help our customers avoid that? So we actually are including for you a picnic table. Now, one thing you might notice is that Go Play campers don't have outside speakers on the sidewalls. That's completely by intent. Once again, we asked the audience, how do you feel about outside speakers? The feedback that we got was they don't sound great. They kind of have a higher failure rate than we're comfortable with. Getting them fixed takes too long. It's extra potential leak points. There were just a lot of downsides to them. And so many people had their own like portable Bluetooth speakers that they would rather use anyway. We thought, what if we just got rid of all the potential trouble? And that's part of the reason we put that outlet in that rear convenience station. So if you do want to have a Bluetooth speaker outside, you can keep it going all day long. Now in our entry area, we have this outfitted with the larger grab handle standard as compared to like the little knuckle buster kind of thing. And the stable step system right here with the adjustable legs. So if you're kind of on uneven ground, you can make sure you can come in and out of the camper without the steps wiggling under you. And for a person like me who's a little bit larger, one of the coolest things about these is that we don't have the stabilizer jacks down right now. But even a big guy like me, if I jump up and down here, the camper doesn't move because the steps are holding my weight and it isolates that movement. So if you're coming or going, or the kids are coming and going after they're all jacked up on marshmallows and Mountain Dew, it doesn't cause the trailer to rock and roll around. Very handy if you're a person who's very motion sensitive, you know. The entry door also is an anti-slam variety. So if the wind picks up or the kids hit it, it doesn't blast against the side of the trailer. Now, like so many things with Go Play campers, we asked the audience, hey, experienced RVers, what do you want in your RV? And on a lot of campers like this, you either have wide open storage or you have some kind of built-in camp kitchen. But we really got 50-50 feedback from people which way they wanted their trailer to be built. So we thought, is there a way that we can sort of satisfy both crowds? And I think that we've done a pretty good job of that. It starts up here with a handy little cold water sprayer port, having a place, even if you're not doing like a bunch of campsite cleanup on your dishes, but having a place to spray the kids' feet off before they go into your camper, that's really, really useful. Then you'll notice that we have a handful of various storage pockets here. This one is the one I think is the most valuable because this actually includes a set of household outlets as well. So if you want to have a Bluetooth speaker out here or just keep your phones charged up, you have a great spot for that. But we wanted some storage to also be enclosed, so we included a big drawer down here. And what that allows you to do is have, like, whether it's all of your picnic table stuff, have your outdoor stuff enclosed in one spot that just nicely tucks away. And if you open the baggage door right here after traveling down the road, you don't feel like everything is just falling all over the place. But Dad's medicine cabinet, as I like to call it, is something that a lot of people found a lot of use for. There were some people that said, I really didn't use my camp kitchen much, but I did use the fridge. We felt this was a really useful thing because being able to keep some drinks or snacks or something like that out here, so you're not going in and out of the camper all day, is a really useful thing. And down here on the rear corner, this is where you'll find a gas grill quick connect in case you want to do a little bit of outdoor barbecue action. So since this Go Play model has the little camp convenience center, we actually are including a bumper mount griddle with you here. Nothing says you have to use it, but it is nice to have something included just so that you don't have to go on like Amazon and buy a bunch of extra things. Now your 26 BHS Go Play has a big super slide. It's deep, it's heavy. And we thought it needs the heavy dutiest kind of slide system out there. So we do have this outfitted with a rack and pinion slide system. Really has some of the best service records of any different slide system out there. You are welcome to check that information against some experienced RVers. I think you'll see that that checks out pretty clearly. Just up front here, we have our docking station. Now it does have a hot cold outside utility shower. This is the same sprayer hose and handle that you will find over by the Camp Convenience Center. The one thing is designed to do multiple jobs on the camper, but you can pick up an extra one of these if you don't want to juggle it around the RV. Pretty simple and easy. This is also where your tank fill is located, your city water hookup is located, and your black tank flush, all located in one localized station. Now, talking about all your mechanical and utility stuff, starting right at the front of the RV, we have our power tongue jack. And I'm sure that you've seen one of those on a camper before, but it's amazing how many RVs still don't have those. You can always get them thrown on for a couple $100, but now you don't have to, and now it's covered under your warranty. Up top on the camper, something you can't really see from ground level, is your factory standard 200-watt solar package. That's going to act as a really nice battery tender. It'll give you some extended off-grid kind of camping capability, maybe not necessarily indefinite unless you choose to add to it. But one of the cool things about that is when we move up here into the front pass-through compartment, that's where you're going to see your service access friendly 30-amp charge controller. We've really found from our technicians that having the charge controller located up in this area greatly reduces the amount of time and effort required to doing any sort of fixes on it, which translates into faster fixes, more effective fixes, and less expensive fixes for you. Now, you also see that you have your battery disconnect switch there, and up top in the pass-through, we give you a dedicated space to store that picnic table that we talked about. And as you're kind of seeing here, not only is this a large front pass-through compartment, but we give you the bigger baggage door on both sides to always give you the simplest, easiest access to all your cargo. Now, when you first step in here, it's just a doorway. It doesn't seem like it's anything too, amazing to check out. But we added a couple simple little hooks right by the door, whether it's to hang up a jacket, a dog leash, your hats, or something like that. It's amazing how many RVs, sometimes even big dollar luxury fifth wheels, don't give you that simple convenience. But I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall. I'm obviously weighing a couple extra pounds right now. I'm a normal sized, real sized person. And when I walk in here, I look kind of small compared to the space that we have for a couple different reasons. First of all, this is a little bit taller than industry standard. This is 6'9" tall. Not most, but many trailers in this class, I would say, are about 3 inches shorter on the sidewalls, and that really opens the space up. Now that's going to do some things like allow us a taller slide box, again, to open up the space. It'll also mean bigger cabinet space in your kitchen area. Also, more headroom in the shower and more space between each of the bunks. Now, the light bright color palette here, this kind of contemporary look, it really also visibly opens the space up a great deal. And the big windows that we have over here in the Super Slide, those also let cascade in a whole bunch of natural light, which just kind of reminds you that, you're camping. Now, the general day-to-day living experience in the RV, if you are going to be inside for an extended period of time, is pretty comfortable. Again, the taller ceilings, the big slide give you lots of space. This having a full Super Slide gives everybody plenty of seating so you're not really packed and stacked on top of one another. And if you choose to add it, we do have the wall up here that separates the bedroom from everything else, giving you a place to mount a TV. I definitely recommend getting some kind of swing arm mount if you choose to do that, but for the most part, this is a floor plan designed to be here with your family, building those memories and being social together. Now, the dining experience over here, you feel like if you've seen one booth, you've seen them all. But I really do love the big windows over here. Like when you're sitting here being social with your family, checking out your scenery, it's just a nice, comfortable experience, whether you're having your morning coffee or anything else like that. You're bacon and eggs, One of the other things that we did here, based on so much experienced RVer viewer feedback, is we put this table on free floating legs so that if you want to kind of cheat the table over, if you're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit smaller, or you want some extra space to get into and out of the dinette, it makes that a lot simpler. The other thing, nothing says you have to leave it at the dinette. If you want to pull it over here to the slide and have a little bit of a dinofa experience, the dinette becomes an open lounge. You could even take it outdoors and really maximize your picnic space. Now, when you're in like a 30-foot Super Slide kind of bunkhouse camper, there's only so many arrangements you can come up with in the kitchen, but we kind of went back to the drawing board with this one versus when GoPlay first launched. And we found some areas that we could improve it a little bit further. One of the first things I want to focus on here, though, really just kind of goes back to the construction styling of the RV. Not being an aluminum frame laminated pressed wall, sometimes actually has some benefits people don't realize. And in this case, it allows us to put power outlets exactly where you want them in this camper. The power outlets are not forced under the overhead cabinetry. They're right down here where you want your appliances. And to give you more room for those, we've redesigned the kitchen setup on this. We were able to extend the countertop to really give you the maximum prep space possible here. And we've recently added your dual style sink covers, where you have the removable cutting board cover and the roll-away dish drying rack, so that you can have all the space possible in here, but also still have the ability to wash, you know, the big pots, pans, you know, dinner plates, anything like that here. The stovetop cover also can fold down to sort of get in on the prep space action. But one of the areas that this starts to kind of define itself different from a lot of other trailers, especially in this class in today's market, is what we call our fully featured kitchen. But what does that mean? This has a 12-volt compressor fridge. A lot of RVs have that, but this is a larger 10 cubic foot variety. There's quite a few 8 cubics out there, so this is 20% more cold storage, basically. I think that's like the difference of like 6 Hungry Man dinners, if that gives you kind of a reference point there. Now, 3-burner stovetop, plenty campers have that, but a separate residential style microwave and actual propane oven. That's where this kind of defines itself a little bit differently, in addition to the larger refrigerator. Some manufacturers are just not doing an oven at all, and they're putting the microwave down below the stovetop. And that can give you some extra overhead cabinet space. It's not that it's without benefit. But sometimes, if you're going to make, you know, cookies or biscuits or something like that, you just need an oven. And if nothing else, hey, it's a bread box. You know what I mean? The other thing is, all the little detail nooks and crannies, we utilized all the space in this possible, but sometimes in just functional ways. If you look down here more toward the ground level, notice how we have the handy toe kicks under the countertop. This will save you so much lower back pain because you're not bending over constantly to get to the sink. You can just really belly right up to the bar. And then we get to all the storage. So starting right up top here, remember the taller ceiling allowed us to put a shelf in that cabinetry and literally double the overhead cabinet space. So if you have, you know, big cereal boxes and stuff like that, they should be able to fit right in here. Again, we do have the larger, 20% larger 10 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge as compared to the little less expensive 8 cubic foot. But man, I've never heard anyone ever complain about having a little extra refrigerator space, you know what I mean? The pantry space over here, it's right next to the bunks, so this could perhaps double partially as pantry and maybe partially as dresser storage, depending on what you're doing with it. Something that's a little interesting is we found a creative spot for your converter fuse box actually under the stovetop. So you have a door to close it away and kind of keep it away from the little kid hands, but still maximizing all the function and access that you have here. Now, under the sink, when we extended the countertop, we created a lot of extra pocketed space right here. So this whole central cavity is essentially fresh extra storage that we didn't even have in years past, and a lot of manufacturers still do not. You might notice the plywood box drawers that's not particle board that's been pressed together and then basically given a sticker wrap. They run all the way down to the floor. And then over here, around the corner, right next to the entry door, we are actually including a small wastebasket for you. Now, you might want to put a little bit larger one in there if you are so inclined, but it's in a location that works very nicely for the kitchen, but can also provide like a quick place to toss something away if you are outdoors. It's just inside. You don't have to go trekking through the entire rig. Now, one of the great things about this bedroom up here is it actually has this big cross breeze and viewing window. So if you're just kind of laying in bed lounging, maybe the kid's already up and about and moving around, you can sort of pop your head out there and keep an eye on them without really necessarily needing to get up and around yet. Now, this does have these really wide open side stands in here, which is really nice if you're like a side sleeper and you want to sling your arm over, but it also is really friendly if you have a little standing fan, phone chargers, CPAP machines, or just anything. Having the space here to set some books or an alarm clock next to you, there's always use for it. Now, just like everything else, we have pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, which means it's not particle board that is exclusively just stapled together, held together by staples in your imagination. It actually does have everything screwed together, very similar to your residential cabinetry. Both sides of the bed have an individual hanging, wardrobe tower. They are mirrored, so you can make sure you know what you look like before you go meet the neighbors wearing your Cookie Monster pajamas, I'm guessing. I don't know. But up top here, a lot of campers have an open kind of concept storage solution, and they do have a little bit of a lip on the edge to keep things in place, but usually you have to go get things like these little totes after the fact. We didn't want you to have to go accessorizing your camper. We just wanted you to be able to pack the camper and go camping. So we actually included these for you. But being a family model, naturally we have some bunk space back here to be able to sleep everybody. Remember, your sofa and your dinette also can fold down into some bonus sleepers if you really need maximum capacity. But there's the little details that we think help separate the Go Play series here. First of all, you have separate curtains for the upper and lower bunks. And that's one of those things that if you've never camped with kids, you don't realize that sometimes when there's only one curtain, the kid on the lower bunk pulls really hard and has a way of just ripping it basically out of the ceiling. This just avoids that. And maybe one kid needs a little privacy. Maybe we had a little conflict. Maybe they need to decompress. Maybe one kid likes a little more enclosed space when they're sleeping or not. Everyone's a little different, and this allows you to sort of customize the spaces a little bit as needed. Now, as we slide up here into the bunk area, you'll notice that both bunks have their own individual power solution, a little pocket to put the phones to charge up at night, and they have their own window that does open for airflow. And airflow windows, that is something that at this kind of dollars and cents range, not all bunkhouses are going to provide. Then as we move back here into the bathroom beside the bunks, first thing I want to show you is that, even the adults are going to have plenty of space in this bathroom right here. And I'm not telling you that you're going to sit here probably for a long time and enjoy the experience, but it won't be awful doing what you need to do. We did extend the countertop here to give you more room to spread everything out. Really handy if you have like lots of different, shavers, blow dryers, toothbrushes, all that stuff. But we did enclose the storage down here. So if you're traveling with things like extra rolls of toilet paper or, shampoos, body washes, that stuff doesn't have to go into a tote or a bin every time you go traveling. You can just close it up and close the door just like you do at home. The idea is simple and easy camping. One of the other things that's easy to miss here is with the taller ceiling, a bigger person like me can more comfortably stand in the shower of this. And you can see that a little bit over 6 foot tall, even still wearing my shoes, I don't need my head up here. Now this is a combination vent fan and skylight. So you're getting the extra light, you're getting the airflow, but what you're not getting is an extra hole in the roof, basically. We're kind of combining two things into one here. And then again, sometimes it's those little daily function features. When we ask the audience, what is your RV bathroom missing that you had to add after the fact? A lot of people said, I never had a place to hang my towels. So it's simple, it's easy. We just try to come up with that solution for you. And once again, it's the simplest little things. One of my personal pet peeves is when an RV bathroom just doesn't have a medicine cabinet. Instead of, some campers just have a mirror glued against the wall. And it's functional, but it's not as functional as this. I think we could all agree it's nicer to have a place to put things. Then down here below the sink, we just used all the little space we could, whether you're going to use it to store extra towels, again, linens, whatever the case may be. There's always purposes you can come up with, and especially with this being a family camper, you probably need more things in this bathroom as compared to a couple's trailer where there's only two of you. You could potentially have 4, 5, 6 people in this RV. You're going to need the extra space wherever you can get it. Now this is definitely going to be an RV made for spring, summer, fall kind of camping. Now the definitions of those seasons might change a little bit depending on where you live in our beautiful country, but where I'm at in Michigan, we get all 4 seasons pretty evenly. So that's the definition that I'm using here. To begin with, we actually go with a little bit larger 15,000 BTU Coleman Mach air unit. Now, like you saw right here, I have these little fins that I can play with. This allows you to decentralize or re-centralize your air distribution through the centralized ducting in the ceiling. If it's really hot, like when you just pull into your campsite, you want to cool the space off more quickly to get the kids calmed down, you can drop all the cold air right here before eventually pushing it back into the bunks, the bathroom, and the bedroom. But being a 15,000 BTU air conditioner as compared to a 13,500, which some brands use and some brands don't, it basically provides an extra up to 10 degrees of additional cooling capacity in this RV. A lot of people don't know how RV air conditioners actually work. You think it's kind of like your house where you set one temperature and it finds its way there. RV air conditioners work relative to the outside ambient temperature. So let's say it's 100 degrees out. A normal 13,500 BTU air conditioner can get you a maximum basically of 20 degrees of cooling inside. Now, Sometimes with certain levels of humidity, you might not necessarily get there. The larger air conditioner that we have standard on these, no upgrade charge or anything like that, trying to figure out which options are on your camper. We just make it simple. All of these are the same. This will get you that potentially up to additional 10 degrees. That's a pretty big difference. 80 versus 70 degrees in your camper when it's 100 degrees outside, I'll take it. Then if it's spring and fall, or you just camp in an area that gets some really wild temperature swings, like more of a desert style climate, hot during the day, cold at night, your heating system here, it's an interesting combination hybrid of traditional floor ducted heating and modern cabinet ducted heating, and there's advantages both ways. First of all, the floor ducted heating is just simply more effective at keeping your RV warmer faster, but sometimes the way those vents fall, you don't want them there. So like right next to your kitchen where you have water, where you have prep space, you don't want to drop a bunch of stuff in the vents. We put them in the cabinet sides out of the way where it made sense to still kind of maximize effectiveness without interfering with daily function. Plus, this camper does have an enclosed underbelly that does have a direct forced air heat vent coming straight off the furnace. And it's not just the enclosure, but the heating. That there's only a few other trailers like this with a wood frame skeleton, a stick build style camper at this price point that actually will heat the bellies to give you that extended season efficiency.